Happy Tuesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope that you're all wearing your green. I hope you like my hat. I have a really exciting so what to share with you today because we have quite a few things coming up here in Sulky land that I get to tell you here for the first time. So I hope you're all staying warm. I know there's blizzards and all kinds of crazy weather happening all over the country. So, maybe it is a great day to just sit at the sewing machine, make a project, enjoy looking at the weather and not being in the weather, All right. Lots of you saying, yes, it is cold. Good morning. Hello. All right. So as I mentioned, I have a number of exciting things to share with you before we get started on today's project, which actually is one of the exciting things because we have a brand new project to share with you today using a kit from sulky.com. If you have been watching So What for a while now, maybe you have seen me starting to do these project mashups where I kind of take either an existing pattern or an existing kit and maybe mash it up with another existing pattern or an existing kit, and we come up with something entirely new. Well, actually, today's project is using an existing kit, but we are transforming it with a brand new pattern. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And we've put the kit on special pricing for today. Actually, the sale is good until the 18th at midnight Pacific time. But you are going to want to get on this because if you're interested in a kit, we have limited quantities available. So I will get to that momentarily. But before we get started, my other exciting piece of news is that our spring mystery box is going to be available for shipping next Tuesday. But the good news is my fellow my viewers here on So What get to pre-order this box starting today. So you will have advance pre-order status. If you add this to your cart, you go through the checkout, you buy your box today, you will be guaranteed to get a box before everyone else is, before this is made public to everyone else next Tuesday. All right. So this box, the theme for this box is pedal to the metal. All right. So a little play on words there like we like to do here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you can get a little bit of a clue as to what is inside of this box or what types of projects maybe you can expect that go along with this box. Linda's asking for hints. So let me see some more hints I can give you. You see the beautiful flowers on this graphic here that I'm sharing. So maybe that will give you a hint. Big hint is in the theme. All right. So, I don't know how much more I'm willing to give you here, but there may also be something hidden in my sewing room that might be a really good hint as to what our mystery box is all about for the spring. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight, piques your interest, and you can add this to your cart starting today and reserve your box. So exciting stuff. Okay, a lot of you saying yay. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you, Mary. She says, love your hat. All right, so pedal to the metal mystery box. This is full of all kinds of spring inspiration for your sewing. Full instructions for 2 different digital products. I'll just tell you, one is a pattern and one is an embroidery design. They can go together, but they don't have to. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Things are popping up on my screen. I have had this intermittent, internet connectivity issue all day, so I hope that we're okay on So What. It is incredibly windy outside my window. And I know, again, a number of you are facing a lot of crazy weather today as well. So let's just try and enjoy this together and make the best of it. All right, another line of business before we get started. This Thursday, so in 2 days, I will be hosting our travel town hall meetup. This is going to be a virtual event where we just meet up casually on a Teams meeting. It's kind of like a Zoom call where we can all come together. And I'm going to tell you all about our travel experiences that we have on deck for 2026 and 2027. I'm sure you've been hearing me talk about our travels, our trips that we have coming up with craft tours. Our first one at the end of the year is France, Germany, and Switzerland. This is happening just at the perfect time for all the beautiful Christmas markets and scenery. We also have in 2027 in the early, well, midsummer, we will be going back to Bali for batiking and all of the things. And then in fall of 2027, we will be going back to Tuscany. So 3 beautiful tours that you can sign up for. And, you know, I talk about it pretty much weekly on So What here because it's a great idea to plan these trips early so you can make sure your passport is in order. You can figure out any excursions you might want to do on your own, or you can stay with the group the whole time. It's really what you make of it. But traveling with a group where everyone already, you know that you have sewing, quilting, crafting, creating. You all have this in common already. So everyone becomes fast friends, and it's just a really, really great way to travel. So if you are curious, you want more information, you have direct questions for me, come to the Travel Town Hall, ask your questions. I'll be going through some itineraries, my personal experiences, what to expect once you register, things like that. And if you want to come to the town hall, but maybe you're not free on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, if you click on the link in the description of today's post where it says add event to your calendar, click on that, add it to your calendar. And then after our town hall live is over, I will be presenting the recording. So you can watch it and then you can ask your questions there right on YouTube. All right. Sharon says, how do you connect to the Zoom meeting? So in the description of the post here for today's live stream, click on see more or click on that little more button. The whole description will pop out and you'll find links for everything I'm talking about. And it's a lot of information today because we've got our spring mystery box link in there. I've got the link to today's kit as well as all the materials. I almost said ingredients. All the materials for the kit are also linked. And then at the very bottom of the post, you will find the link to the town hall. So when you click on add to cart or add to calendar, my goodness, so many things to talk about today. I hope I'm not confusing anyone further. When you click on add to calendar, it's going to populate the link for the town hall right into your Google Calendar, Yahoo Calendar, whichever one you choose. And then once you see that in your calendar, you'll have the link to join the meeting. So I hope it's not too confusing, but I wanted to make it easy so that you didn't have to register and all these things. You can just click and join and boom, there you are. So I will also be posting that link directly onto our Facebook page. And it's also going to be in our newsletter that's going this week. So you'll find a link to join that town hall meeting. Again, it's happening this Thursday. So in 2 days, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We will talk about all things sulky travel. Oh, okay. The spring mystery box isn't there. Let's see. I thought I revised the description for today's post and added that in there. But you can also go to sulky.com And in the search field, just type in mystery box. I'm going to do it with you here. Type in mystery box, and then you will find the pre-order button for mystery box 21, which is our pedal to the metal mystery box. All right. I hope that helps. Nancy says, what a beautiful quilt behind you. Where can you purchase the fabric? Well, Nancy, I'm just going to say again that I don't want to give too much away here. However, it may or may not, it may be included in the pedal to the metal mystery box. Is that too much of a clue? Grab up one of these boxes. You may or may not get this fabric in it. Okay. I'm trying to be quiet. I don't know why. Everyone can hear me. Okay. Anne says, already got the mystery box in my cart. All right. Yes, Melanie. Top of the morning to ya. I wish that I had a really good Irish accent, because it's like my favorite accent in the world. And it's so very difficult for me. I don't know why, but I end up sounding really terrible. Like it's the worst. I'm not even going to attempt it here. But anyway, yes, top of the morning. I hope everyone's having a great St. Patrick's Day so far. I hope you're wearing your green. I did hear on the radio this morning, because I still listen to the radio. I did hear that the reason we wear green is that so the leprechauns can't see us, because they've got their eyes on the gold, right? So when you wear green, you just blend in. They can't even see you. I mean, I'm today years old before I knew this. So we learn something new every day. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard it on the radio. All right. Let's see. Any other items of business? Ooh, yes. I told you I had so many exciting things to share with you today. So if you joined us on our All the Things Quilted Tote webcast last week, where we made this beautiful bird-themed tote bag using these Quilting Treasures fabric panels. If you missed this webcast, you can always register for it, and now you can watch it on demand, because we record all of our events and they live on our education platform at sewingonline.sulky.com. So what was I going to talk about? Someone put in the chat, got my tote bag kit and instructions. Where do I find the cutting instructions for the bird panels? Okay, so that's a lot of what I covered during the webcast itself, was how to cut the bird panels. I did not give exact cutting dimensions for each of the panels, because there are 3 sizes of tote. So what I did was I measured very carefully along the width of my available fabric rectangle. So let's say if I chose the large tote to make, then I would take the dimensions for the large tote. You can even cut your backing fabric a little bit larger than the large tote, and that's your available space for piecing. So when you're piecing together those bird blocks, they need to fit, including seam allowances, along that width and length of your fabric panel. Keeping in mind that these are directional prints, so you are going to need to rotate them so that when your tote takes shape, your birds are oriented in the right direction. So all of this was part of the webcast. It's not written down as, exact dimensions to cut your bird blocks. Okay, I hope that's helpful. All right, so if you joined us for that event, I said that our next event would be available soon for registering. And guess what? It is available today, our Everyday Eco Serger Kitchen Set. Now, I know this says serger. However, if you don't have a serger, we will also be giving you tips for how to create these projects using your sewing machine. So if you don't have a serger, don't worry. Come along anyway. You can still make these projects. So Iris is saying, was the webcast recorded? Yes. So every single one of our events, whether it's a webcast, a video cast, of course, our sessions, those are start anytime. So they are a series of recorded videos. Every single thing is recorded. So if you're registered for Everyday Eco Kitchen Set, even if you can't join live, we place the recording of the event on the event page after we're done live streaming. So anyone who's registered has access to that page as long as you have an account at sewingonline.sulky.com. So after the event, you can log into your account, go to that event page, and watch the whole recording. At that time, you will be able to fast forward, pause, rewind, rewatch things again and again if you need a refresher. So if you ordered a kit the day of and it's just now shipping, because we ran out of so many kits and tried to restock as many as we could, if you're just now receiving your kit, you can go back to that event page, watch that event, again, rewind, fast forward, all those good things, and you will have all access to everything that everyone had access to on the day of the event. And if you have a question, at the bottom of the event page, there's a little question and answer block. You can type a question right there. We all get pinged for that question, and then you get your answer delivered right there on the page. So, same goes for our Everyday Eco Kitchen Set. This is happening April 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, with our special guest, Sue O'Very from SOOKIE Sews. I love me some Sue O'Very. She is such a great serger expert, but she does all kinds of sewing, machine embroidery, even garment sewing, all kinds of things. She's a really, really fantastic teacher. If you've never had a class with Sue O'Very, come to Everyday Eco Kitchen Set. You will love her teaching style. She makes everything seem so easy. And if you have questions about, should I get a serger? What type of serger should I get? How do you thread a serger? Things like that, come to this webcast. Also, when you register for this event, again, April 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, when you register for this event, you will get a free serger buying guide. It's a PDF that you can download and print. And if you're in the market for a serger, or if you're not sure if you want to purchase one and add that to your sewing room, this buying guide can kind of help you figure out which serger is right for you, and if it's right for the type of sewing that you like to do most. So I find it very, very helpful for adding elastic, sewing knits, even working on quilt as you go projects. There are so many great reasons to have a serger in your sewing room. So first off, we are going to be making these no paper towels. Sometimes people call them unpaper towels. So the whole eco part of this webcast is because we are getting a little bit eco-friendly with these projects. So we will be making these no paper towels using a beautiful serger stitch for the edges of our flannel fabrics. You roll these these no paper towels around an existing paper towel roll holder thing. And then you can use flannel towels instead of paper and reuse them and wash them and all sorts of things. The great thing about the fabric that we're using for these, first off, it's from Riley Blake. It's great quality. It's a great collection of colors. The other great thing about them is the more you wash them, the softer they get. The only trick is that you want to not use fabric softener so that they can continue to be more absorbent as you use them. So we've got our no paper towels, and then we also have these great bowl covers reusable bowl covers. So we're kicking out that plastic wrap, aluminum foil, all kinds of things, saving on all those products, helping to hopefully save the earth a little bit, right? So these bowl covers are made out of a beautiful laminated fabric that's by Splash Fabrics, and the edge has a beautiful elastic that matches the fabric that we are going to be applying using our serger. But again, you can use your sewing machine as well. So that is going to be our Everyday Eco Kitchen set. And we've got 2 colorways of the kit available to you. With the kit, you can make about 4 bowl covers. This obviously depends on the type of bowl you're going to use them for. So if you're using one of those Gigantosaurus bowls, obviously you're not going to get 4 out of it. If you want to make these for smaller bowls, you can make more. You get the idea. So at about 4 bowl covers. And then you also get a set of flannels to make, I believe it's 11. Is it 11? 10 or 11, 12? What is it? I know you're like, you're asking me? This is the first time I've seen this. Actually, I think it's like 14. I have to look at this. So many numbers. Do you know how hard it is to remember all these numbers just off the cuff here? Let me see. Everyday Eco Kitchen Set Kit comes with, all right, 15. So you can create 15 of the no paper towels using the flannel fabrics, which is enough to make a really nice, towel roll. And 15 towels, hopefully that lasts you quite a while, so you can wash these on the weekly, things like that. So we've got a black and white kit colorway. It's actually called Salt and Pepper. Cute. Here are the bowl covers a little bit closer up. You can see they're like a black and white sort of fruits and veggies type of print. Really cute. And then we actually have a colorful kit that's called Fruits and Veggies. So with this kit, you get a little bit different laminated cotton fabric with this really cute, avocados and blueberries and all kinds of things printed on the fabric. The laminated cotton fabric, it's already laminated. I saw somebody said, will we learn how to laminate the fabric? We won't. It's coming laminated already. It is already ready to go, and it has that coating on it, so you can just wipe these clean when needed. You can spray them with some kitchen cleaner and spray both sides, let them dry, rinse them off. And this is a food grade laminated cotton fabric. It's really, really great stuff if you never worked with it before. And then also you get these colorful flannels for your no paper towels. So again, this one is the Fruits and Veggies colorway. Love it. So if you have a really colorful kitchen, this is going to go well. Even if you have a lot of neutrals in your kitchen, this will be a nice pop of color. And then we've got our Salt and Pepper black and white colorway as well. Here is what those kits look like. So you get those 5 flannels, you get the laminated cotton, you get the elastic, you get 2 poly deco threads and 2 not poly deco. You get 2 50-weight cotton threads and 2 30-weight cotton blendables threads. So this is how we're going to create those beautiful decorative stitches on the outside of our towels and to attach that elastic. All right, so this is the Fruits and Veggies colorway, and then this is the Salt and Pepper colorway. So if you have a little bit more understated kitchen, or you just really love those classic black and whites, then this one is for you. So I hope you will join us on April 7th, 2026, 2 p.m. Eastern Time with Sue O'Berry of SOOKIE Sews. First off, you got to register for the webcast. It's absolutely free. Once you do, you will get that Serger buying guide PDF. And then All you have to do is join us on April the 7th. Grab up a kit in the colorway of your choice, and you'll be good to go. Love it. All right, so today's project. I'm so excited about today's project because I took this kit that we have at sulky.com and I turned it on its head and I made something totally different out of all of the materials in the kit. It was quite a challenge and I really, really love the end result. So this kit is from our free motion for beginners quilting session, which is at sewingonline.sulky.com. If you are scared to drop those feed dogs on your sewing machine and try your hand at free motion, then put this quilting session in your library at sewingonline.sulky.com. This kit was used to make a free motion sampler quilt kit that had some macrame fringe coming off of the lower edge of the quilt. So it was a really nice wall hanging size that you could practice all of your free motion stitching using tons of different sulky threads and needle combinations and beautiful Tula pink fabrics and Anna Maria Horner fabrics. This kit also came with sticky Fabri-Solvi for planning out your free motion quilting. You can stick that quilting plan right onto your fabric right side, stitch through all of those layers, and then rinse it away once your quilty project is complete. And that's the best way to transfer quilting lines. You don't have to worry about, how do I erase these now? My chalk isn't coming out, all sorts of things. So also with this kit, you get this beautiful lavender colored macrame cording and these wooden beads. So I took this kit. First of all, I should also mention that this quilting session is today's gift for one lucky viewer who is watching and commenting, somehow engaging with the post today. You can even give me those little emojis. This is today's gift from Sulky. I'm going to gift somebody this quilting session, which is valued at $19.99. You get all sorts of printable quilting templates, tons of videos from the very, very beginning of sitting down at your machine and setting it up for free motion, all the way to creating this sample. So this is the project that I just decided to turn on its head. You know, it's National Quilting Month, and I wanted to just really get creative with the materials. So I had, you know, some yardage parameters to work with. I had to figure out how to incorporate this macrame cording and beads into something brand new. And I mean, honestly, I'm so proud of myself because I think you guys are just going to love this project. It is a quilted tote with macrame handles, with all of the beads added. Every single thing that was in that kit is in this tote. It's got great little boxed corners, a patch pocket on the front, a patch pocket on the inside, fully lined. And I mean, I just could not love these straps any more than I do. I'm so excited to bring you this project. Okay, so the instructions for the tote are on the Sulky blog. I have also created a totally new pattern using this kit. So when you purchase up the kit, you will now get this quilted tote with macrame handles pattern PDF. You will also get those quilt templates that I spoke about. Those come with purchase of the kit. And I love this fabric. So the print is by Anna Maria Horner. It's called Echinacea Flowers. And all the solids are Tula pink. They're actually called unicorn poop. Not lying. But those are her solid fabrics. And then you get enough macrame for these handles. That was the other thing, is I had 16 yards of macrame cording. I was like, what am I going to do with this? So I figured out how to create these handles and you only have like a little bit of macrame left. I'm just amazed that I was able to pull this one off, everybody. And I'm in love with the bag. It's perfect for spring. It's great for going to the beach or going to the lake or all of those fun, spring breaky type excursions that everybody might be planning at this moment. So I'm going to take you through the how-tos for this tote. But just know I'm going to have to go a little quickly because it is a lengthy project. There are quite a few steps, but I will say it is 100% beginner friendly. Now, these handles, yes, they do take a little bit of time. You're making a bunch of square knots, but I gotta tell you, I made a little video for you. If you can't remember how, we made these friendship bracelets back in the day, it's basically the same concept. We're just using this thicker cotton cording instead of using floss and things like that we used to use for friendship bracelets. All right, so yes, I'm going to show you how to macrame. It is a quick video once we get to the handle construction, but I posted the video to our YouTube page. It is linked in the blog post as well. So after you watch this tutorial, you can head on over to the blog and you can get all the instructions, all the macrame video, all of the things, and then you can grab up your kit and you'll be ready to go. All right, I know the macrame takes me way back too, Sharon, and I really had fun with it. And I don't know, I just love the look of the beads on the handle. I think it's so unique and really cute, and it's just a great accessory. All right. So Nancy says, I bought the kit but haven't made it. How can I receive the new pattern? If you bought the kit prior to this new release, go ahead and reach out to our customer care team, customer care at sulky.com. They can look up your order, or you can head to the blog post because I put all the instructions there in the blog post. Okay. So let's get started here. First off, you're going to cut all of your pieces. Okay. So also included in the kit is the batting that I used for the interlining of the bag. So I used it all up. I used batting for the exterior, both exterior pieces, and then a little piece of batting for our outer pocket because we're adding all kinds of quilting to this bag. And so the pocket is quilted separately from the exterior, and I will go through that with you momentarily. So we're going to have 2 exterior rectangles, 2 lining rectangles, 2 batting rectangles. Then we're going to have our pocket rectangle, our pocket binding, our macrame pieces, and there is a little bit extra fabric. So if you do not want to do the macrame handles, there is a piece of a blue fabric that comes with the kit that you can use to make fabric handles instead. And I give instructions for that as well in the pattern. So you can forego the macrame if it's not your thing, and you will have enough fabric to create fabric handles using a complementary blue fabric that matches the background blue in the print. Okay. So once you have all of your cutting done, we're going to prepare our pocket for quilting. So the pocket is made of 1 long rectangle, and we fold it in half to create our patch pocket. We only need batting on 1/2 of this rectangle because if we put it on the whole thing and then folded it in half, it would be really bulky on the outside of our bag. So we're just going to put batting on the front side of our pocket. So you can spray base this in place so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then we're also going to spray baste our exterior fabric to the batting. Okay. Once we have those prepped, we're going to cut out a little square along the lower edges of both of our exterior panels. This is going to be for boxing the corners later. So you want to do this after your batting is adhered to the exterior fabric so that when you're cutting away that corner, you're cutting that away as one. It just makes it easier. It makes sure that those lie nice and flat. Now, I do not baste the exterior together because we're going to quilt this. And when we quilt it, it could cause our fabric to shift a little bit. And we don't want that to happen if we have basted the edges. Then we're going to get puckers along the outer edge of our exterior fabrics. So no need to baste this, just spray baste it so that it doesn't go anywhere during quilting. So we've got to decide what type of quilting do we want to do. And this is where that free motion quilting session comes in handy, because if you do want to experiment with free motion, maybe outline some of these fabric petals or add some metallic thread to the center of these flowers, that would be really pretty. I highly suggest grab that session, put it in your library at sewingonline.sulky.com, and you can learn how to do free motion stitching using a variety of different threads, which are all included in the kit. So here I've decided to choose from a 30 weight Blendables thread and our hollow shimmer metallic thread for my quilting. And I kind of switch back and forth between these threads depending on the type of quilting that I wanted to do on the bag. So the kit also comes with a pack of quilting needles in assorted sizes. And that is important because there are so many different thread types and weights in the kit. So you will probably have to switch between needle sizes depending on which thread you decide to use. So in the pattern and in the blog post, I talk about which needle size and type to use with each thread that is included in the kit. You can choose from invisible thread, hollow shimmer metallic, the 30 weight Blendables, a 12 weight thread, and a 50 weight cotton thread. So all of those are going to give you a different quilting result for your bag. So depending on the look you're going for, you have lots of options, or quite frankly, you could experiment and use them all in different ways. So once you have determined the thread and the needle that you want to use, now it's time to figure out what kind of quilting we want to do. So for the 30 weight cotton thread, I decided to do simple crosshatch quilting on both exterior pieces and my pocket. So I plotted all of my quilting lines using this removable chalk. Quite frankly, I'm still having issues getting it off of my tote, which is really annoying. So it almost still looks a little bit yellowed. Can you all see that? Because I'm still trying to get that chalk off of there. Give me all of your tips. All right, but I do recommend plotting your quilting, especially if you're doing straight line quilting. A lot of the times I think, oh, I'm just going to do straight lines. I'm going to go right to the machine. And then somehow I mess it up, or my lines aren't equidistant, and you can just, my eye will always go to the one that I, messed up. So I recommend plotting your quilting lines using some sort of favorite removable fabric marker, and then simply quilt over your lines. When I'm using a thicker thread like a 30 weight or a 12 weight especially, I always lengthen my stitch length a bit. So I used a 3.5 millimeter stitch length for these straight stitches. This would also look really pretty with a serpentine stitch, or even just a decorative stitch of your choice. You might even have a cute little flower stitch you could use for some of the quilting. All right, so we're going to quilt both exterior panels. And then we are going to quilt our pocket. So remember I said only half of our pocket has binding or has batting attached to it. That's the only part we need to quilt as well. We don't need to quilt the other part of our pocket. It's going to get folded up and it's going to be inside here, so it doesn't need that quilting. Plus, it doesn't have the binding attached, so it would be really a lot more difficult to add stitches to anyway. So For my pocket, I did the crosshatch quilting, but then I came in, can you see that? And I did free motion stitching and outlined all the flower petals in hollow shimmer metallic. It'll be better if I show you the pictures because bringing that up to my camera is terrible. So for the hollow shimmer metallic, I switched to a size 90-14 top stitch needle. I lowered the feed dogs, I put on my free motion foot, and I went to town outlining all of these petals. I love the way it looks, and I would have done my whole tote bag like this, but quite frankly, I had to get this pattern made so that I could bring it to you all. So I did not do it on my whole exterior panel. In hindsight, I wish that I just would have taken the time to do it because I just really, really love the look of it. So you can also use that hollow shimmer metallic for your crosshatch quilting lines or for decorative top stitching. So you can choose where and how you'd like to use all those threads that are included. So now that our pocket is quilted, we're going to create the pocket. We're going to fold it in half, right sides facing, and we're going to stitch the two side edges and stitch a little bit of the lower edge as well, leaving an opening for turning. I always like to come in on the corners, even just a little bit, so that those have a nice shape to them, and then I can turn it right side out. Sharon says, what size is your grid quilting? Great question. I think it's about 2 inches. Yes, I did 2-inch rows for the crosshatch grid. All right, so after we sew our side edges and a little bit of our lower edge, we're going to come in and clip those corners. So I've clipped off the lower edge corners and then I just kind of trimmed the upper edge corners a little bit. That way when we turn our pocket right side out, we have nice crisp corners and edges on our pocket. So there we have it. It's turned right side out. You can see the quilting grid. You can see the hollow shimmer petals. Our corners are nice. When you turn it right side out, your opening for turning kind of wants to turn to the wrong side. So you can give that just a little bit of a press. And now we're going to place our pocket on one of the exterior panels. So I went ahead and centered my pocket 4 inches down from the exterior upper edge and pinned my pocket in place. Then you want to top stitch your pocket. So I always like to do a little triangle stitch on a patch pocket. So at the upper edge, I angle my stitch a little bit. I come down on the pocket, back stitch toward the upper edge, and then I continue down all the way around the pocket. And your top stitching is going to close your opening as well at the same time. So here you can see that little triangle that I did. And for this, I have switched my thread to the 50 weight cotton thread, which is our long staple 100% Egyptian cotton thread, and it needs a 75-11 or a 70-10 needle. So I've got my little triangle at the upper edge, and then you just kind of connect the upper edge of your triangle, and that really reinforces that pocket that you're going to use a lot of time. This is what like your jean pockets look like, right? I forgot to mention too, before placing your pocket, you want to top stitch along the upper edge about a 1/2 inch from the upper edge fold line of your pocket. It just kind of finishes the pocket and gives it a little bit more sort of decoration. So you can see, I think it's a nice little finishing touch to add that little top stitching of your pocket. All right, so once our pocket is in place, you can see that's just another angle showing you I came down about 1 inch and then angled my triangle about what, like 3/8 of an inch in from the outer pocket edges. All right, so now our pocket is top stitched. We can set aside that exterior panel, and we are going to work on our lining now. So we've got our 2 lining rectangles. First thing to do is to cut out our little square from the lower edge of each lining rectangle. That's going to be for boxing our corners. Then we're going to create our lining pocket in the same way that we created our exterior pocket, except we're not quilting this one this time. So we're going to sew our sides and a little bit of that lower edge, clip the corners, turn it right side out, give it a press, and then we're going to place our lining pocket on one of our lining rectangles. So again, we're centering that pocket 4 inches down from our lining upper edge. Now we've got our pocket top stitched on one of the exteriors, and we can start constructing everything. So everything's ready to sew now. On our exterior, we are going to sew our 2 side edges and the lower edge. And it is important that you get nice, flat, pressed open seams. And it's a little bit difficult to do that here because we've got to basically come in and put our iron inside of the tote. So really our only saving grace at this point is that those little boxed corners are still open. So you can get your iron inside of the tote, and the tip of your iron is going to kind of poke through one of those holes. And that's going to allow us to get a really nice, flat, pressed open seam. So this becomes important when we go to box our corners because we really want to reduce those bulky seams. We want everything lying nice and flat. So make sure you don't skip this step of pressing open these seams. Now we are going to take our tote and kind of smush it together. We want to align one of our side seams with our lower edge seam. And since our seams are pressed open, it is going to be a little bit bulky along there, but don't worry about it. You've pressed open those seams and they're going to lie nice and flat. We're going to clip along our boxed corner edge, and then we are going to sew along it. This would also be a great time to use your serger because your serger is going to kind of compress all of those layers, especially at that seam join on the boxed corner. So now that that's clipped, we're going to take it to our sewing machine and we're going to sew across that boxed corner edge. And we're going to repeat and do that for the opposite side and repeat and do that for our lining as well. So once we have that completed, we're going to create the little tabs for our handles. See, that's how we have attached our macrame handles to the tote. So if you decide to make fabric handles instead of the tabs and the macrame handles, you would follow these instructions for creating your fabric handles. Same exact concept. If you are making fabric handles, I would suggest either adding a little strip of batting in between your handle rectangles or a little strip of fusible fleece, or you can even add some interfacing to these fabric pieces so that your handle has a little bit more weight to it when you're using it. And I love putting a little padding in a handle. It just feels nicer on your shoulder as well, especially if you're carrying some heavy things. So we're going to take our handle connector, or we can call them tabs. We're going to take our tab rectangle, fold it in half lengthwise with wrong sides together, and give it a good press. Then we're going to open up that fold and bring the long edges toward that fold line so that they meet at the fold line, and then we're going to press again. Then we will fold in half lengthwise again along the original fold line, and that is going to encase all of those long raw edges. Now we can take this over to the sewing machine and top stitch it. So after we have that, that's how you would create your handles. And the length for those handles, everything is in the pattern and on the Sulky blog. All right, so once we have that, we're going to subcut this piece into our 4 tabs. All right. So once we have those, it is time to make the macrame handles. And once you get in the groove of it, I'm sure it's going to jog your memory of making those friendship bracelets, braiding that macrame that we all used to do back in the good old days. But I'm going to show you the video that I created for how to make the square knot, how to add the beads, and how to create the knotted looped end, because we need a loop end on both sides of the handle with a nice clean knot so we don't have any frayed raw edges of our cording peeking out. So let me just show you this little video I created, and then we will attach the handles and our tote is basically completed. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this video and I will be right back. We're going to create 2 handles. Each one of them is going to look like this with 4 beads on either side and loops along the ends so we can attach them to a tote. For each handle, we're going to have a short cording length and a long cording length. The short cording length should measure the length of your handle times 2 plus about 12 inches. Fold the 2 cords in half and create a loop approximately 1 inch long, and then knot the strands together to secure the loop. Tape the loop to a work surface or secure it to a pole or a chair post or a hook. Divide the strands so the shortest are the 2 in the center and there's 1 long strand on either side. Then tape the 2 center cord ends together. This will help keep them together and thread the ends through the beads. To create the square knot, take the long left strand and bring it up over the middle 2 strands and under the long right strand. Then take that right strand and bring it under the middle strands and over the left strand. Then pull up on the knot toward the loop to secure, making sure that those 2 center strands remain straight. Now repeat in the opposite direction. Take the rightmost strand and bring it up over the middle 2 strands and under the leftmost strand. Pull the knot up toward the previous one, keeping those middle strands straight. This completes the first square knot. Repeat to create 3 more square knots. Now we'll add a bead. Tie the first row of the square knot, but before completing the knot, we'll thread a wooden bead through the center 2 strands. Then create the second knot to complete the square knot. The bead should be sitting securely between the two knots. Repeat the process to add 3 more equidistant beads with 3 square knots between each. After the last bead, continue to tie square knots for approximately 14 inches. Then add 4 more equidistant beads at the opposite strap end. When you reach about 6 inches from the handle end, fold those ends to create the second attachment loop. Secure the loop ends with a strong knot. Trim the ends of the cord evenly. And then add a bit of fray check to the cut ends. Then let that dry. Very carefully push the cord ends slightly into the knot using a Sulky multi-purpose turning tool, a stiletto, or a point turner. Repeat all of the steps to make the second handle. All right, see, it's just that easy. I know it takes a while to like retrain your brain and remember these things. You know, for those of us who used to do a lot of macrame or friendship bracelets and things like that. But it does start, you know, getting kind of automatic, and you can finish these handles really in not a huge amount of time. And it really just adds such a unique addition to the tote. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not really seeing a whole ton of macrame handles and straps and things like that out there these days, but I say let's bring it back. For some reason, it has just like such a springy and summery vibe, especially with the purple cording. So to answer some of your questions that came in while that was happening, or while that video is playing, Sue says, what are the final dimensions of the tote? So the tote measures 15 inches wide by 11.5 inches, and it's 3 inches deep. So it's good size. I kind of call it like a library tote size because you can fit quite a few books in here, tote it to the library. It's just a really great summery, beachy, springy bag. Great size to hold lots of things. Vanessa says, what diameter of cording do you use? So in the kit for this project, the cording is 2 millimeter. And I did see somebody asked about making a rope bowl out of it. Quite honestly, it might be a little thin for a rope bowl, and it definitely feels different from the cording that I typically use for rope bowls. So I can't really speak to that. I would think that it's a little bit on the thin side for a rope bowl, but maybe if you wrap it in fabric, that would give it a little bit more girth and allow you to create a rope bowl out of it. All right, let's see. Do you use cotton cord? It is cotton cord. That's what's included in the kit. But honestly, for these handles, I'm sure you could use cord that's made out of all sorts of things, because, you know, it's for a decorative tote, and not necessarily for something like a rope bowl, we'll say. All right. Barb says this will be my first macrame project. Love that. All right. My nails match the cording. I'm so coordinated today. Love that. Joe Allen says, what is the average cost of the kits? So this tote kit, it actually retails for, bear with me, the retail price is over $72. But today we have put this kit on sale and it is $50.68. It is 30% off retail. It comes with all the fabrics, the cording, the beads, all these threads, the needles, and sticky Fabrisolvi. You may be asking, where did you use the sticky Fabrisolvi? Well, if you are doing free motion stitching, or free motion quilting rather, you can print out one of our free motion quilting templates onto the sticky Fabrisolvi, stick that on your pocket piece, and do a bunch of free motion stitching using one of the thread spools that is in the kit. And the instructions for that are briefly stated in the pattern, but also very detailed in our free motion quilting for beginners session at sewingonline.sulky.com. Okay, so after we've made, let me see if I can get back on track here. After we have made our macrame handles, now we need to attach them to our tote. So we're going to take those 4 subcut little handle tabs. We're going to fold them in half, matching the short ends, and we're going to fold them in half through the loop that we created in our handle. All right. So fold those through the handle, clip the ends, and then you can baste them in place so that they aren't going to go anywhere. And now we can clip them to our tote upper edge. So we're going to take our 2 exterior tote pieces that have been quilted and they are sewn together. And we're going to mark our handle placements. Actually, this image is in a little bit of a wrong place. We want to mark our handle placements before we sew our exterior together. So when we're marking those quilting lines, that's a good time to also mark your handle placements as well. All right, so now we are going to clip those handle tabs at the handle placement marks on both exterior pieces, and we can baste those in place. Now we are going to take our tote wrong side out and put it into our lining so that right sides are together. And we're going to clip the entire upper edge. I should have mentioned when you create the lining, you do have to leave an opening for turning along the lining lower edge. So don't forget that part or you'll never get your tote turned right side out. All right. So when you clip the upper edge, you want to make sure that your handles are tucked inside between those layers as well. And then you're just going to sew along the entire tote upper edge. Here we are. And then you can turn your tote right side out, pull the lining out, and here's the opening that I have. So I took the 60 weight poly light thread that is in the kit, and I just hand sewed my lining shut. If you would rather top stitch yours shut, that is entirely your call. I like hand sewing it because it really just makes a nice base for the tote. I don't have that little sort of bumpy seam sticking out, but really it's on the inside of your bag. So that is personal preference, totally up to you. Once your lining is sewn shut, you're going to stuff it into the exterior tote. So now the wrong sides are together, and kind of finger press the upper edge, favoring the lining to the inside. Also, when you sew your lining side seams and lower edge seam, you're going to use a little bit wider seam allowance than you used for the exterior. This is all explained in the pattern and on the Sulky blog. That way, when you go to shove your lining into your exterior, it fits nice and snug in there. All right. And I'm kind of generous with that. Like, let's say there's a 1/4 inch seam allowance on the outer bag. I do a fat 3/8 seam allowance, or maybe even a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and it's going to be nice and snug when you put your lining in there. Now we just need our final top stitching detail. Make sure you're pulling your handles out of the way of the stitching and top stitching that entire upper edge of your bag. You can choose another one of those decorative threads for this top stitching, or that hollow shimmer metallic would be beautiful, or you can just use that 50 weight cotton thread that you used for constructing the tote, and it will kind of blend in. But I like that little extra top stitching detail along the top of the bag. It kind of echoes that little top stitching detail that I have along the top of the pocket as well. And that is our final step. And then we have our finished tote, ready for the farmer's market, ready for the beach, ready for our spring breaking adventures, ready for summer. Someone said this is great for Mother's Day. The colors are just perfect for this time of year, for the season that we have coming up. In just a few short days, it will be spring. So you all can be ready to go with this new accessory and sporting your really cute macrame handles. I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite projects thus far, using that free motion quilting sampler kit at sulky.com. So again, if you don't want to do the macrame handles, there is a blue fabric here that perfectly matches that echinacea flower print fabric, and you can use that fabric to create handles in lieu of the macrame handles. So instructions for that are also included in the pattern. So again, this kit is on special sale starting today until the 18th at midnight Pacific time. So you can grab this kit at 30% off and make your own beautiful springy quilted tote with macrame handles. Love that. All right. Granddaughter would love this. She loves purple. Love it. Thank you, Patty. Penny says, love the so what. Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Love that. She says, I can hardly wait for my kit to get here. Great. Great gift for Mother's Day with extra goodies inside. Love that as well. All right, so speaking of spring, be sure to head on over to sulky.com and reserve your mystery box kit, or mystery box, period. This is our Pedal to the Metal spring mystery box, and you can pre-order this box to guarantee that you get one, and it ships to you on Tuesday of next week when the official launch of the mystery box hits. So that's going to be packed full of spring sewing inspiration as well. And I encourage you to get one. It is a fantastic mystery box. Absolutely love it. And also be sure to sign up for our Everyday Eco Kitchen Set webcast happening April 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time over at sewingonline.sulky.com. And don't forget, if you are interested in our travel excursions that we have coming up for 2026 and 2027, you can join my town hall meetup, which is this Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And the link to add this town hall meetup to your calendar is in the description of today's post. Click the add to calendar button and you will have links to join us. It's basically a Zoom meeting. We're doing it on Teams. It's going to be super casual. Come with your questions and I will answer them. All right. Betsy says, does the box contain a car? Oh, don't we all wish? I mean, I've always wanted to say, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. But no. No, I'm just gonna let the cat out of the bag. It doesn't come with a car. But maybe you can come to some conclusions with our theme as to what is inside. Maybe what's, hanging in my sewing room today. I don't know. But you're guaranteed to love it and enjoy all of the items inside and the extra digital products that you get with your purchase as well. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining me today. I hope you loved the tutorial and the bag and that you are full of inspiration to inspire your creativity today, whether you're in a blizzard, having a windstorm, or just enjoying your weather. I hope you find some time to sew today and be creative. And I'll see you next Tuesday for another sew.